Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. These blessings and salutations to the hopefully elect. The brother Isaiah with the Pittsburgh GMS camp coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. Lord willing, this is edifying. And I was listening to a brother's lesson, the elder Ayathan. If I'm not mistaken. And he mentioned something, and it led me to start getting some precepts. And as I read, I just kind of came across something I want to share. So the precept that I was reminded of watching this video was Acts 1:6. It says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? All right. And this is when the disciples, came. All right. And, they want to know, what was going on. They want to know if Yahweh Shai was going to return the kingdom unto Israel at this time, because the kingdom is for Israel. The kingdom was promised unto Israel, which led me to do a search for the word promise, and I came across some interesting things. So I'm going to start with the first precept that I have in line here. It's going to be Acts. All right, 13 and 23. It says, now this is Paul speaking. If I'm not mistaken, let's look at it. I think this is Paul speaking before Agrippa. Make sure. Yeah, no, this not the one. I think I had that one open, but this is not it, Salakia. But I'm gonna just read this, right? Acts 13 and 23 says, of this man's seed hath the Most High, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And that's the point I want to get, of the seed of David, all right, which they say is a spiritual, immaculate birth, but the seed, that word seed goes into semen, all right. So of the semen of the semen virile of David, his lineage, his direct lineage, was Yahweh Shai raised up, and the seed goes through the father, which will make Joseph his biological father by default, So I want to start off with that. Let's read Acts 26, right, and 6. So I believe this is where he's before Agrippa. It says, this is Paul speaking to the multitudes, right? It says, and now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of the Most High unto our fathers. Possessive pronouns, right? Unto which promise our 12 tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, instantly serving the Most High day and night, hope to come. For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. All right. So this is Paul standing before Agrippa. And he's saying, look, this promise was made unto our fathers, which promised our 12 tribes hope to come. All right. So let's continue. So the promise is for the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, a lot of times Paul speaks about different things. All right. And he talks about the law, and he says some things very hard to be understood, which I believe it was Peter who spoke about that. Things which be hard to. I don't remember the exact wording, but this should bring it up, Lord willing. 2 Peter 3 and 16 says, let me make sure. And let's read 15. And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which some are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrest, meaning they wrestle with them, as they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. So people hear and read the things of Paul, and they come up with all these conclusions that are off. They're erroneous. So let's read some of this Romans 4. All right. Romans 4. Let's start at verse 9, because there are some things in here that people would, let me make sure. There are some things in here that will cause people to believe that, that the Gentiles, which people people say of the other nations could come into the truth, come into this knowledge, come into this promise that was made unto the Israelites. But you got to remember, the promise was never made to the Gentiles. But let's just read some of this, and Lord willing, give some understanding. It says, "Cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also? For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness. How then was it reckoned? When he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision. As he received the sign of circumcision." Let me make sure this is the one I want to read. I want to start here at verse 13. Salakia. It says, "For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith." So we have to understand something. Let's keep going. It says, "For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect." So people think that a Christian in their era could take this and try to wrestle. See, the ones that are the law, who got the law? The Israelites, they ain't do. That's not what this is talking about. What this is saying is that the law was established. I think it even says that here. Basically, what it's saying is, if the law was able to provide you the promise, then there will be no need for the promise. See? It says, "If they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void." What's the point in faith if all you have to do is keep, if it's possible to just keep the law to a certain degree that you obtain the promise, then there's no point in having faith. You see? And the promise made of none effect. You see? That's why it's saying that. He's saying there wouldn't be no point. Verse 15, "Because the law worketh wrath. But where no law is, there is no transgression." So if the law were not set into place, then there would be no punishment of death, right? But the law was set into place, okay, so that those who are being wicked could be destroyed, which it'll come to a fuller picture as we continue. I'm trying to see if there's any more I want here. Okay. Yeah, verse 16, "There it is of faith that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not only that which is of the law, but to that which is of the faith of Abraham, who was the father of us all." All right, so let's continue. Galatians 3, okay. Now let's read this. 16, it says, "Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds, plural, as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Hamashiach." Okay, so not to many seeds, because Abraham was the father of many nations, all right? But it really, the promise went down to Abraham, Isaac, and then Jacob, right? Let's continue though, verse 17. "And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before the Most High in Hamashiach, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect." So the promise was given unto Abraham before the written law. All these different laws and commandments that were given by the hand of Moses were set before the people. Okay. There was the faith and the promise that was given to Abraham because he was called out of his homeland. He left and went into a strange land and sojourned there. He was going to sacrifice his son. He was going to do all these things at the commandment of the Most High. And these things were counted unto him as righteousness. All right. So that was the point of the promise. The law coming later is not going to say, well, let me change that promise now that the law came. That's not what it was for. Let's continue. "This I say," let's continue, "for if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of promise, but the Most High gave it to Abraham by promise." Verse 19, "Wherefore then serveth the law? It was added because of transgressions, till the seed should come to whom the promise was made, and it was ordained by angels in the hands of a mediator." So basically the law came into place because people was just being utterly wicked. All right. It was put into place to basically keep balance and keep order until the seed of promise were to hit the scene, until these times now where the elect are being awakened unto this final awakening, all right, and being delivered into the chariots, and being given the dominion to be fellow heirs with Hamashiach Yahushai. All right, so the law came into place to rile in the transgressors, to provide punishment unto the transgressors. All right. That was the main purpose of the law. Now, of course, it was also to teach us righteousness, okay? All right, let's continue. It says, now a mediator is not a mediator of one, but the Most High is one. Is the law then against the promises of the Most High? The Most High forbid. For if there had been a law given which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. But the scripture have concluded all under sin. Okay, everybody sins, that the promise by the faith of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach might be given to them that believe. All right. But before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed. Who was kept under the law? You know, because Christians always like to say, well, you know, thing is for everybody. But when were the other nations kept, held to some type of standard under the law of Yahweh Shem Yahushua? You see, the scriptures say, let's get a precept. Because we're the only ones that have known the judgments. We felt the wrath of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? Salak. Psalms 147 and 19 says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So these other nations have not known, they have not experienced the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We have been healed, you know, and all these things have been allowed to happen unto us because the Lord dedicated his word unto us. He shared his secrets with us. And so when we knew better and broke it, the Lord had to punish us. But these nations haven't felt that judgment yet. They continue to not feel that judgment to this day. It's slowly coming upon them, okay? And they will be judged according to the law, all right, and destroyed. But as of right now, Jake, and as history dictated, Jake has been the main one bearing the load of these judgments, man, okay? There have been different things that have happened, okay? But we were given the direct judgments of the Lord. All right. The Canaanites were exited from the land for their wickedness, but they were not the law was not dedicated unto them. You see? Let's continue. All right. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Hamashiach, that we might be justified by faith. Okay, so the law was there to teach us the right from wrong from right. But after that faith has come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster. Why? Because we've learned these things. We've learned to a degree of how to be, all right? And we still continue to stay into the scriptures and know the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that we may be perfect. You know, be ye therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So we try to the best of our ability. For ye are all the children of the Most High in faith, by faith in Hamashiach Yahushua. For as many of you have been baptized into Hamashiach, have put on Hamashiach. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. Okay, the Greeks weren't given the law of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay. You know, when were they kept under the law? The first person entering in that people believe is a person of another nations will be Cornelius when he's an Israelite. Okay. So when were they under a schoolmaster? Because he's an Israelite. That's why verse 29 it says, and if you be Hamashiachs, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promises. So there's a certain select number of men that have been given unto Yahushua. All right. If you be Christ or Hamashiachs, then are ye Abraham's seed. Well, matter of fact, those that were given to Yahushua have been given to Yahweh Shem Yahushua from the foundation of the earth. Let me see. Let me get here, Salakia. All right, Ephesians 1. Trying to get it in the KJV. I might have to just grab it. was that? Ephesians 1 and 4. All right. Ephesians 1 and 3. Blessed be the Most High and the Father of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in HaMashiach, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. You see? Having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach unto himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. So the Most High already chose and set aside his chosen people. And did you think that he was going to choose a nation of people, and that some of his people that he chose before the foundation of the earth would be outside of that nation? But he said, oh, I love this nation. Do you think he don't love these people that he's chosen? But somehow secretly they dwelling outside in one of these other nations. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. The Most High chose the Israelites, and you can guarantee that these people that he chose from the foundation of the earth to be adopted, okay, were a part of the nation that he loved, and are still a part of the nation that he loves, the only nation that he's chosen. You know, you guys are trying really hard to get into this family, and this is a family affair. You can't get into the cookout, bro. You ain't got a t-shirt. Don't nobody recognize you. Okay. Romans 9 and Romans 8. So now we understand that it's by promise. Okay, this is kind of a twofold type of lesson almost. We understand that it's by promise, okay, and not necessarily by the keeping of the law, even though those that are righteous will be forced into keeping some aspect of the law to the best of their ability. You won't have a choice. Romans 9 and 8 says, matter of fact, Romans 9 and let's go up above that. Romans 9 and 1. I say the truth in Hamashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. So his mind was grieved for the Israelites. If everybody needs saving and everybody needs Yahweh Shai, then why was he so sad about the Israelites? Why didn't he say for my brethren everywhere in all the world, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth or belongeth the adoption? We just read about the adoption of children, right? Where he chose them from the foundation of the earth to be adopted. Verse 5, having predestinated us, Ephesians 1 and 5, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach to himself. You see, he predestinated them. They're of the Israelites, not the other nations, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants, both covenants, not just the new or just the old, it's both. And the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises. The promises are only for Israel, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, the Most High blessed forever. Amen. So Hamashiach came for them according to the flesh. Because see, this is the thing about it. The promise was set up. The promise had to be set up, okay, because nobody can keep the law 100%. So the elect will be the first dominion, and the 2/3 or the rest of the children of Israel will be reborn and still enter into that dominion, because it was told unto Abraham that the seed of promise would inherit the earth. And that includes all of Israel, man. Even the ones that are going off right now. The Most High is going to bring them back after he destroys them. It tells you that in the Apocrypha. In one particular place, the same must know it after death by pain, which is why they removed the Apocrypha. Okay? They're going to come back. Well, that's just one of the reasons. There's a lot of stuff in the Apocrypha that kills this whole crazy doctrine out here, man. Verse 5, whose are the fathers? Okay, verse 6, not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. So everybody that's an Israelite, okay, let's just get this understood. Not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. They are not all chosen which are of the chosen seed. You see? They are not all princes which are of the nation which is called the Prince of Power, Yashar Allah. He Prince Power. All right. Everybody's not princes. The scriptures talk about that. The scriptures say, if you are without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye not sons, but ye are bastards. Okay, there are people of the nation of Israel that are not being, they're not going through certain things because they're not chosen to go through those things. The Most High is refining and chastising those who He have chosen, and there's some jakes that are just coasting, just living it up. You know, them are bastard sons. They ain't chosen, so they ain't part of the Prince of Power. That ain't them. They ain't gonna rule with Yahweh Shai. That's what that means. That's one of the things that means. Let me say that. All right, they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. They're not the Israel of the Most High. There's an Israel of God. That's also what the elder was going into in his lesson. Okay, the Most High have chosen of the same lump to choose one side of Israel to be righteous, and 2/3 of the house of Israel to be unrighteous. Here in America, Babylon the Great, and other places where the wicked dwell. All right. Neither because are they the seed, neither because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So just also likewise, there's a distinction between the different seed that Abraham had, only in Isaac, and then goes down to Jacob. Those are the chosen. That is, they which are children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. All right. So the children of promise will be the sons of Jacob. All right. And then amongst them, the elect will have the first dominion. All right. But all of Israel, which was the name given unto Jacob, you see, which denotes right there who the seed is, because there was only one man called Israel, right? That was when Jacob wrestled the angel. His name was changed to Israel. So every time it talks about Israel, it's talking about the descendants of the man Israel. So when you talk about the seed of Abraham, okay, how often does it speak about Ishmael? Is the story about Ishmael? It's not. It's about Israel. You see? All right. So, I just wanted to get into that. Lord willing, that was edifying. I'm going to keep going. I think that's it. Let me see. Boom. 1 Peter 1 was manifesting these last times. I think that might be it. It might be all I wanted, but the promise was given unto the children of Israel, man. Okay. All right. So that's why when the scriptures talk about, the law and the circumcision and all these different things, and saying that, it's not of the it's not the circumcised, and it's not this and the Gentiles and this, that, and the other. Really what it's saying is that the law itself cannot justify you, but that doesn't mean that you throw away the law. A lot of people use what Paul says to say, you ain't got to keep the scriptures. You ain't got to do that no more. But you're in error. The scriptures are a guideline to life. That's why the scriptures talk about what they talk about, saying that, all scriptures are profitable, 2 Timothy 3:16 says, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. All right. So you guys are you're just not of that seed. All of Israel ain't of Israel. Just because you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans pick up a Bible, it don't mean that the Most High have chosen you. That's what that means. All right. And even the disciples knew, and they asked Yahweh Shai, will thou at this time restore the kingdom unto Israel? Okay. Because that's what it's about. The Most High and his promise, his love affair with the nation of Israel, and how he's gonna give them what he said he was gonna give them. All right. And we just waiting on that. That's all we waiting on. All right. And you other nations ain't a part of this promise. You got yours right now. Enjoy it while you can. Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopefully elect. With that, I want to say Shalom, Wa'abah, Babal, Shalom.